Which fictional character's death have you not gotten over? Mike from Breaking Bad. Involved in a bad life but the love for his granddaughter. Heartbreaking. That's why I love Better Call Saul. Brooks from The Shawshank Redemption. The worst thing was how real it was. Knowing that this happens to people a lot. Ned Stark. I was so shocked when they actually did it. The moment I realized this isn't going to be like all the other movies shows. Edit. To all of the replies. I'm not that familiar with the actor so I couldn't see it coming. Leslie Burke from Bridge to Terabithia. This one kept me up as a kid. I was depressed for days. Guess I'm getting too old. Littlefoot Mcu. Probably the saddest kids movie death ever. It was way too much. I felt like I lost my own mom that day. Always wanted to eat a tree star. What was his name? Wash. The pilot in Firefly. Hoban Washburn. Came here looking for this. Remus Lupin and Nymphadora Tonks. They deserved a good life. So did Fred. A Baron Martell. Oh god, his death was one of the worst in the entire series. Hughes from Full Metal Alchemist. I really liked him. His Japanese VA apparently also died from cancer this year. It's a terrible day for Rain. The sniper from Saving Private Ryan. He was a guy that was doing his absolute best and gave it his all. When the tower was bombed that he was in. My heart sunk. But that's war. Edit. OMG, thank you all so much. Thank you for sharing all of your stories too. I've been sitting in bed reading them all morning. The first time I watched Saving Private Ryan. It was in my sophomore year in history class and I cried. All of the deaths in that movie were heartbreaking. My horse in Red Dead 2. Rest in peace, Ivory. Thank you. Double quote. Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy. They had to kill Yondu, otherwise the Battle of Wakanda would have been over in seconds. Fred Weasley from Harry Potter. And Greed from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. Don't forget Hedwig. She barely even got a paragraph before they forgot her. David Tennant as Doctor Who. I don't want to go. I loved Matt Smith too, don't get me wrong, but I still shed a few tears anytime I watch that episode. Sorry, my nerdy self can't let it pass that I called him Doctor Who instead of the Doctor. I have brought shame on my household. The wife from Up. Yeah, damn. That movie didn't waste any time in tearing your heart out. Arthur Morgan. And Lenny. FCK, I miss Lenny. Luten. Uncle Iroh's son. Avatar: The Last Airbender. While we didn't see his death firsthand, I felt like I was mourning a son of my own when Aaron sang that song. Still tears me up. Apparently Mako had his diagnosis by the time he recorded that episode. It feels so raw and real because the emotion fueling it really is. Mufasa. This is a childhood trauma for so many kids. As a child you think your parents are indestructible. They're immortal. They can't die and will always protect you. And then you have this little lion baby who runs up to the corpse of his father and just doesn't even understand at first. And then you realize that the big, strong lion dad is dead. Peter from What We Do in the Shadows. Poor Petty. Sizzled to a crisp. The dogs in Where the Red Fern Grows. Jesus. I had completely forgotten about this. And that brought back memories of Old Yeller as well. Sirius Black. He lived in an abusive household for almost 17 years. Then fought dark wizards for a few years. Then put in Azkaban, without a trial. And accusing him of associating with his abusive family he ran away from and killing the family he ran towards, and tormented with dementors for 12 years. 1 year of reliving his worst memories and then bam. Dies. He deserved a good life. I remember reading this bit when the book first came out and feeling crushed for that exact reason. And for Harry losing such an important parent figure and connection to his own parents. Open bracket. Tadashi Hamada from Big Hero 6. I literally cried. My kids love that movie. So we watch it a lot. I hate that part. Grandma Coco from the Disney movie Coco. That film got me weeping from start to end. I was fine through Coco right up until the end, and then I was just sobbing for a long time even after the credits rolled. The Dog and I Am Legend. Absolutely heartbreaking to watch that scene. Some people were like, "Oh, it's just a dog." Double quote. Like, no. Sam was the only thing Robert had for years to keep him sane. She was literally his best friend. Her death represented the end of his family. After he had to kill her, he was completely and utterly alone. So heartbreaking. Data. I was handling it okay. Then his brother started singing a halting and broken version of Blue Skies and I was just crushed. Edit. It came out 20 years ago. Is it still a spoiler? Even more crushing. The first scene from Picard where Picard is dreaming about playing, I forget what game, something with Data. And Data asks him why he's not playing to win. And Picard says, "I don't want the game to end." I was fking sad for a day or two after that. Maximus from Gladiator. I would say his family. He got exactly the death he wanted after he was betrayed. Revenge, and it being in front of all of Rome was a plus. Then immediately back with his family in the afterlife. Lenny from Of Mice and Men. Tell me about the rabbits. George. Double quote. To this day it's still the only book that has brought me to tears. It took me so long to get through those last few pages. Anyone seen Grave of the Fireflies? That movie is one of those movies where afterwards I was like, good movie. Well made. Effective. I am never ever watching that again. Double quote. Fives. Clone Wars. Him and Hardcase 2. Charlotte the Spider. How she sang to Wilbur, who was terrified of dying. Even while she was dying. Bob from Stranger Things. Shireen Baratheon. There were brutal deaths and then there was Shireen. There are, and surprisingly, lots of Games of Thrones characters already posted on here. I've posted this before, but Hodder still gets me. Edit. Thanks for my very first award. Stoic. They did handle his death very well. With the entire funeral scene immediately after the battle. And Hiccup's first reaction felt so human. So real. Fire Fist Ace. Everyone says Ace. But I'm over here crying over a dang boat. At the moment. Bobby Singer. Crowley. Hank Schrader. You're the smartest guy I've met and you're too stupid to see he made up his mind 10 minutes ago. Spike Spiegel. See you. Space Cowboy. Asterisk. Charlie from Lost. But hey. It's not Penny's boat. The Forest Spirit from Princess Mononoke. Glenn Sawyer. I couldn't believe AMC was allowed to show such a violent, graphic, realistic scene. I'm a big horror fan and it takes a lot to shock me. But those first couple blows to the head. The eyeball. Him trying to talk. He gave me PTSD. Winifred Burkle. Angel. Logan. Finnick was the saddest death in the Hunger Games. It happened so quickly in the books that I had to read it over and over to process what happened. I was not happy. Palsy Washington from Orange is the New Black. Alexi from Stranger Things. He just wanted his Slurpee. Open bracket. Kenny from South Park. Such an endless hell of sorrow you must live. My condolences. George from Halo Reach. He sacrificed himself by blowing up the Covenant supercarrier. Thinking his actions saved Reach. Then moments later the whole Covenant armada appears out of slip space to eventually burn the planet he loved to much to glass. Opie. Sons of Anarchy. I got this. Double quote. L. Lawley from Death Note. The series went downhill after L died. Primrose Everdeen. Koro Sensei. Edit. Didn't expect that a lot of people would actually share my sentiments. I would like to add this was one of the 2 moments I almost cried because of an anime. I mean, we all knew it was gonna happen, but yeah, it was very sad yet also pretty nice as he dies. Glad that his students managed to kill him. Arthur Morgan's death really took a toll on me. You spend half of the game knowing what's to come, dreading it, simultaneously watching this badass killer trying to right his wrongs and save his family, only to be betrayed by half of them in the end. Rockstar broke my heart. Cade 6, I'm coming home ace. How's your sister? Cade went out like a legend. Catelyn Stark from GOT. No one has to tell me how terrible and quickly that show plummeted in quality, but the first 4 seasons were top tier television. Catelyn died thinking her youngest sons, Bran and Rickon, were burned alive. Thinking her daughter Arya was missing, presumed dead. That her other daughter Sansa was forever to be held captive by her family's killers. And witnessed her eldest son, daughter-in-law, and unborn grandchild all die in front of her gruesomely. Her expression the last few moments of the episode are haunting. She doesn't plead anymore. She isn't weeping. She is barely even breathing. She is empty. Just a vessel waiting for her demise while staring at the lifeless body of her son. Herschel's from The Walking Dead. Glenn's as well. And T-Dog's. And Carl's. Damn, they killed off so many good characters. Kakyoin from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And Caesar. Ragnar. Jason Grace from Heroes of Olympus. I haven't got to his death, but for me it's got to be Zoe Nightshade or maybe Bob. Bianca's death is sad, but it's less a death that gets me and more how it affects Nico. Duchess Satine from the Clone Wars. She was this close from escaping and she was mercilessly killed for the sole purpose of hurting Obi-Wan. It hurts more when you watch it a second time. George O'Malley from Grey's Anatomy. Cedric Diggory. That poor lad hardly did anything to be killed, nor did he get any time to defend. He could have at least got a bit of fighting to do, but instead Voldemort and Peter come and just say kill the spare, and next moment Cedric is dead. He didn't deserve this type death. Hodder. That last episode that explained everything for him FK'd me up. I cried during it and cried after. Like that's only happened to me twice with fictional characters. Sayori from Doki Doki. It was out of nowhere. It is something that truly happens. And it really shows you the truth to the game. Quicksilver, MCU. The MCU killed him off literally after 1 film. And X200B. Edit. Also Kylo Ren. It was stupid that he just kissed Rey and then suddenly died. That would definitely represent Disney killing off this franchise. Everyone involved in the Red Wedding. Got. I didn't read the book and was shocking. One of those endings of Nier Automata, man. I didn't need to see all of them go like that, damn. Commodore James Norrington from Pirates of the Caribbean. One of the best character arcs of any film. And they just killed him for trying to be the good guy. I still can't watch the 3rd movie for how badly they ruined his character. Galahad from Kingsman. The Secret Service. Very sudden and unexpected. Mylin's death in the 2nd one got me. Take me home, country roads. Soccer. Me. New series starts, that means more soccer. Yay. Me after watching Legend of Korra realizing Sokka died off screen. Bruh. Kelsier from the Mistborn trilogy. He was my favorite character and I really did not expect his death. I was waiting for him to come back. Because I really could not believe that he was indeed dead. I wanted to continue the trilogy after the 1st book. But missed Kelsier too much. A few years later I finally finished the 2nd and 3rd book and have to say, they were great. Even without him. Brandon Sanderson just did a really good job with this series. Portgas Diaz. I wasn't even into the series when he died, but I'm still grieving my favorite character. Especially with all the flashbacks we're getting now. Colonel Blake from the TV series MASH. It was the first time I had been genuinely shocked at a character's death and led to me learning the concept of suspension of disbelief. Since then, if a character dies, Oh well. Troy leaving community. I know he didn't die, but he absolutely would trying to sail around the world with no training. There's a reference in a news ticker in another episode that he and Levar were captured by pirates. My headcanon is that Troy managed to become king of the pirates. He then made Levar his first mate, but insisted he wear 2 eye patches. Troy. I can't see anything like this. Double quote. Yeah. But this just feels right. Double quote. Lady Sybil Crawley on Downton Abbey. I still think about it and get sad. So unnecessary. She was the best character. The MCU's Quicksilver. It was OSP talk on plot twists that really drove this one home for me. If Pietro survives Age of Ultron and sides with Iron Man in Civil War, it's the first time he and his sister have been on opposite sides. If he survives the snap, it's the first time he's been separated from Wanda. During the 5 years between the snap and Tony's death, there are no active supers on the planet. Hawkeye is dealing with the loss of his family in his own way, but perhaps Pietro is doing for Earth what Captain Marvel is doing for the rest of the galaxy. Maybe Quicksilver and Hawkeye even come into conflict over Clint's methods. When the snap is reversed, there's now 5 years difference between these twins. For those who want to see the video, you can see the bit here. Anto Jones from Torchwood. Just why? Can I also add on Tosh? Her death was not something I was prepared for, and it hit in all the best ways. Her final message to the team always makes me cry when I rewatch it. I just wish the show had explored more on the grief over, well, literally any of these characters' deaths. Torchwood doesn't seem to do aftermath very well. Eponine. I weep in the shower when I think about her taking a bullet for Marius. I think her story of unrequited love is relatable and tragic. She was selfless and smart and courageous. Who is chopping onions in my room? Granny Weatherwax from Terry Pratchett's Discworld. I sobbed like a baby. And I still miss her now. Nina from Full Metal Alchemist. I just can't. Esme Weatherwax. The most dangerous woman that ever lived. Rita Morgan. I was absolutely dumbfounded. To think of the terror she felt in her last moments. And Dexter never came to the rescue. I cried like a baby when I saw this scene. She didn't deserve it. She was so pure and beautiful. Maya from the Borderlands games. And as cynical as it sounds, they didn't even use it in any meaningful way. F. King Aya didn't learn FCK all. I can get being an impulsive teenager, but she basically killed her mentor by directly disregarding orders and then has the F King gall to shitty on Lilith. Loki in Infinity War. That time I knew he wasn't faking it. I understand how he felt for being different and feeling like everyone hated him for not being the same. All he wanted to do was feel valid and make the people who once loved him proud. But because of their one-sided thinking, they disliked him for being different and thinking in different ways. And he cared for his brother because he cares for Loki too. He wanted to share the throne with someone who actually loved him for being different. It was truly heartbreaking to see someone die the way they did and not get the happy ending they truly deserved.